Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I've got a few new bits and bobs that I've added into my Etsy store. I've got a couple of tag bags here, and then I've got these which are flower packs, and I've got a new ruffle sack. So I will kind of show you each item kind of one at a time. So I'll just move those to the side. So this ruffle pack, it's literally just a little sack that I've made. I have actually coffee dyed this fabric. It's really pretty floral fabric here. I've just tied it with this gorgeous contrasting ribbon. Now, I've said this before, I will say it again, I'm certainly not a seamstress, so, you know, if kind of whoever buys this gets it, you know, please don't expect this to be awesomely made, because, you know, sewing probably not really my thing. You know, so yeah, just kind of pointing that out. This is literally what I've called it, a ruffle sack. So that's that. And inside of there, you have got varying ruffles of, you know, various colours and sizes, and obviously fabrics. So some of these have been coffee dyed and some haven't. So I'm just going to kind of lay them all out for you to kind of see there. So, oops. Oh, they're all obviously kind of getting hooked up together because obviously they, you know, have lots of frays which I've left on them. I really like the kind of frayed look. I think it's quite popular with most people, but I mean, obviously, you know, they can be cut off. So I'm just kind of going through now, showing you them all. And yeah, so nearly kind of at the end now. I think there were a total of 12, but I might be wrong. So different fabrics. So this is some beautiful floral fabric. This is the same fabric that I used on the front of my vintage sage journal, and I did actually make another ruffle identical that I used on there. And obviously all of these ruffles, they can be cut to size and, you know, just stuck down on a page. Kind of, if this were a page, you know, you could just cut them down and just have a piece kind of there popped on the bottom of a page like that. You can obviously run it right the length, you know, they can be used in a variety of ways. So you've got the kind of floral, you've got a couple of those in this one. There is this one which has got some kind of red, white and blue kind of patterns. This has also been coffee dyed, so super cute, super pretty. Lots of frays there, which maybe I will trim that down a little bit. But yeah, so cute little ruffle there. You've got some blue and white striped, which again, this is navy blue and white, but it has been coffee dyed, so it's now kind of coffee dyed colour and navy blue. You've got, whoops, 3 plain white ones, which obviously I find them quite useful because they obviously go on every single journal really. So that's those. You've got another piece of that with the red, white and blue. This was a very pale blue fabric and I've just coffee dyed it, so that's that one. Then you've got one matching the fabric which the actual sack itself is made from, so just coffee dyed on this beautiful kind of blue floral. And then there's this one which again, it's a floral fabric, and again I've coffee dyed it, and it's just got kind of blues and pinks on there. And then you've got a length of kind of plain, this was the white fabric, but I've just coffee dyed it, you know, for kind of making it look vintage. So I mean, obviously these white ones, you know, they can be coffee dyed now, but sometimes I quite like having the white ones to use anyway. Just a kind of little word is, you know, when you cut them obviously to size to use on your projects, you know, obviously you've then cut the stitch in. Sorry, I'm not sure what that noise is. It's our smoke alarm, I think. My husband's cooking his breakfast, so that's why that's going off. He's obviously cooking something and burning it. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of say that, you know, you have then cut across the stitching, so you've got to just be careful then that it doesn't become unravelled. Obviously once it's stuck onto the page, you know, it wouldn't, because it's then stuck on. But the piece that you have left, I mean, I do that all the time, and touch wood, you know, none of them have ever become unravelled, but I'm just kind of pointing that out, that you'd have to kind of be slightly careful, because obviously then that stitching is kind of exposed. So that's the ruffle sack with the little ruffles in it. So that's the first item. Then the next two items, I have kind of made these. I haven't put these in my shop before. I don't know how they'll do. You know, it might be that they're not going to be popular. I don't know. I've just made these little, like a policy envelope, but a kind of large version of one. And inside I have just popped in 6 fabric flowers. Obviously I have done a kind of tutorial on making fabric flowers, and you know, I'm aware that obviously lots of you make your own, but I mean, some people don't have obviously access to a hot glue gun. They, you know, maybe haven't got a big variety of fabrics and things. So I just thought these were something to kind of try in my shop. So there'll be 6 different flowers, all for kind of using in your journals, and all of the flowers are either backed onto felt or they may be backed onto just some card, so they will have some sort of backing on them like that. And these have obviously got some feathers and things as well. So that's the first flower pack. I'll just put that to one side. I mean, obviously they're for use, you know, really in kind of any paper type projects. You could you could back them with a brooch pin and use them as a kind of little pin on a bag or something like that. I will just point out, obviously they're not washable because you know, they have been made obviously using glue. So, you know, I just wanted to kind of point that out really. So this is the second flower pack. Again, exactly the same thing. I've just made a kind of policy envelope style you know, package. So that's that. And inside there, again, you've got 6 little flowers. So you've got this one, which is kind of a puffy, oh gosh, what do they call these things? A yo-yo, puffy yo-yo. And then it has another puffy yo-yo kind of layered up and this centre. Little stick pin and some lace. So obviously that's quite a large flower. And this one here, it's just been backed onto some card. This one here, it's got some burlap. And some soft kind of nets, little flower in the middle. That's backed onto some card there. Then you've got these two, really pretty, and they're just backed onto, again, some card. And these are quite flat for putting inside a journal, so they're quite good. And then you've got this little cute one. It's kind of just layered up elements of lace. It's backed onto felt, and it's just got a little rosebud in the centre. So yeah, 6 different flowers in each pack, and all, you know, kind of stored in this cute little you know, sack pack thing envelope. So yeah, they're kind of listed now in my Etsy shop. So, you know, feel free to kind of go out and take a look, check them out. And then I've also got 2 2 tag bags, so I will show you those as well. So if you watch my channel a lot, you might be familiar with these. Basically they're just a little tag shaped bag with some ruffle flower, and inside the bag there are 10 different tags. So I won't bother showing you obviously the backs of all the tags, because obviously they are tags, so the backs are going to be predominantly plain. You know, at the most they might have just a corner stamped or something. But the first tag in this, you know, tag bag number 1 is this one here, and it's got this acetate printed image, and that's acting as a pocket for another little kind of tag. It's got some lace and some sheet music, some flowers and some lace here in the corner. This one here, this has just got a printed image which has been coffee dyed, and that's just backed onto some book page. It's got some lace trim down here, a bit of lace up there, and it's all been stitched together on the sewing machine and stitched onto some coffee dyed paper at the back. This one's some decoupage napkin onto a book page. It's got some vintage sheet music, some lace trim, bit of greaseproof paper there, and a stamped image, another stamped image there, and obviously some lace there as a tab. This one is some scrapbook paper. It's just been all coffee dyed and backed onto some coffee dyed cardstock, and then it's got a pocket with some lace, and in there it's got another little tag in the same paper with some vintage book page going down, so that just tucks in like that. And then you've got 2 bits of lace there acting as a tab, which have been stapled on. Then this one, this is just kind of some coffee dyed cardstock. You've got some stamping going on and some napkin decoupage there and a bit of lace trim and some soft net at the top. Then this one here, you've got some scrapbook paper, it's been coffee dyed, and then you've got some stamped images and some vintage sheet music and some soft net at the top, and it's just backed onto some file folder. This one here, this is a fabric tag. It's been stitched around on the sewing machine. It's got some napkin that's been decoupaged onto some paper and then glued on. And then it's got some stamped images there and a little butterfly, a bit of diamante trim, a flower and a bit of lace down here, and obviously a lace tab at the top. So that's that one. Then this one, it's got some scrapbook paper. It's been backed onto some coffee dyed cardstock. And then it's got some vintage book page, a stamped image there with some net and some lace trim, another stamped image, and then a couple of little trims at the top as a kind of tab there. And then this one is quite a large tag. It's got scrapbook paper, some book page, and then this gorgeous image of these birds from a vintage children's book, and then some doily there and definition of the word cherish, and that's just on some soft net there as well, a butterfly and some soft net as the tab. And then this one here, again, it's scrapbook paper which has been backed onto this cardstock, and then it's got again another image from another bird book and a couple of stamped images there, and then this big bow here at the top and some lace trim down there and a little flower. So that's your 10 tags in tag bag number 1. I mean, obviously it's quite nice to just have some ready-made tags, you know, they're quite quite nice to be able to just grab them when you do a journal, and it's quite nice to incorporate kind of other people's work inside your journals. So, you know, that's kind of the idea here. This again got some ruffle and some flowers. And then inside you've got, again, obviously your 10 tags. So the first one here, it's just some scrapbook paper, and then this has got some of my printables. They've all been distress inked. There's some lace trim there with another printable kind of layered up, and then it's got some lace here as a little tab, and that's just been backed onto again some file folder. Then here you've got a teeny tag which has been made from fabric. It's been stitched around on the sewing machine onto just some plain denim. And then you've got a fabric tab which has also been stitched on, and you've also got a stamped image onto some fabric which has also been stitched on, and then a little flower down here and a little bow. Just really, really cute, I think. You know, I mean, maybe you could even kind of do that as a paper clip or something, kind of putting the clip through, you know, through here on the loop, and have it kind of clipped onto a page. I think would look quite sweet. And then here you've got some vintage some printables, sorry, of some vintage images, and they've been coffee dyed, and then they have been stitched around onto some coffee dyed cardstock, and then you've got some lace trim and some more lace down here. And actually, if I recall, I think I did this as kind of a pocket, so you can then obviously pop something inside the pocket as well. Then here you've got this sweet tag here, which is just some scrapbook paper, some layered up stamped images, little Martha Stewart butterfly, and it's just been stitched around on the sewing machine onto some distressed cardstock, and then it's just got a lace tab. Then this one, you've got some scrapbook paper, this one of my printables, and it's got a little clock face there, some vintage sheet music, part of a kind of vintage document, and then here's some lace trim and a little flower. Got lots of stamping around the edge of here, and then some lace at the corner, and that's just plain on the back, which actually I have forgotten to distress this, so I will actually distress ink the back of this. So I'm just going to pop that to one side so I remember to do that. And then this one, you've got some decoupage napkin, and then you've got a little frame and a little couple of stamped images here, and then you've got some lace here, which if I recall is also a little pocket. So again, you could obviously pop something in. And then you've got some soft net or soft fabric here as the tab in the corner. Then here you've got a kind of double tag, which is a couple of different scrapbook papers. They've got various layered up images, including some vintage postage stamps, a stamped image of a frame here, and some lace trim. This one has got some sheet music from actually some scrapbook paper. It's got a stamped image of a ticket, and then a little flower here. And then they're just held together with a little bulb pin, which I just thought was kind of sweet. So that's those. And then this one, I love this one. It's some scrapbook paper. It's got some stamped corners. It's got some vintage book page, some vintage sheet music, and then it's got some fabric here, which has kind of been torn. So it's got some, you know, rough edges to it. And then it's got one of my printables from my die cut printable pack. And that's all been distress inked. And then you've got some of my Nan's neck curtains, which I coffee dyed. That's there with some faux de monte. And then here just a little tab at the top with some more of that lace there. And then the back is just backed onto some, this is the vintage book page. I've mentioned it before, I think it's called fly pages, you know, that you get inside books that are kind of blankets, just backed onto that. Then here you've got a little fabric tab. It's basically fabric that's been coffee dyed. I've got a stamped image here, and then basically stitched on a little piece of kind of ribbony stuff with some lace trim, which has also been coffee dyed. A little die cut of a rose there, and so you can just see the stitches there. A bit of lace up here and some diamante trim. Got a little denim tab here and some more of that coffee dyed lace, and a bit more faux de monte there. And that's all just backed onto obviously coffee dyed cardstock. And then this one, the final one is this one. It's on some vintage sheet music with some decoupage napkin, and then you've got some vintage book page, and you've got one of my printables there, which is the typewriter. And then you've got a stamped image here going across, making a little pocket where I have just popped this, which is another one of my printables. That just goes in like that. And then you've got some more of that lovely neck curtain lace there, some more of this lace trim, a bit of faux de monte, and then the same vintage lace there at the top as a tab, with some more of that neck curtain there, and some more faux de monte there, and a little bow. And then on the back of this one, you've also got a pocket here from some vintage book page. It's all just been distress inked. Another one of my printables there from my die cut pack, and inside there, another one of the die cut pack printables, just kind of acting as a little tag, or a journaling card, sorry, inside that pocket. So this tag's got obviously kind of two little additional pockets to it. So that is tag bag number 2. So as I say, they're all listed, you know, all of these items are listed now in my Etsy shop. So, you know, feel free to go across and have a browse around. Yeah, and that's it, I think, for now. So thank you very much for tuning in, and I hope you all have a really fabulous day. Thanks a lot. Bye.